And welcome to this week's Food Sports Central, the podcast of the World Food Championships. I am your host, Mark Conway, and again this week we're not joined by Mr. Mike McLeod because he is probably in the clouds somewhere, flying to a new destination, trying to lock down all that is the exciting 10th anniversary of the World Food Championships in Dallas, but also prepping rapidly for the mystery and aura that surrounds the final table this year. So we're doing a series where I'm talking with the top 10 category winners from this past World Foods. And what's kind of exciting is we catch up with where they are, what they've been up to, how World Foods, was for them, and then, thoughts and anticipation over, like we said, this enigma that is the final table that we know very little about. So today on the show, I am joined by a competitor who came out and I remember having this conversation with him prior to the bacon competition really getting going, that he felt good, that he had a category winning dish, and he did just that. I'd like to welcome Chef Jack MacMurray to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely, man. I was looking forward to this because it was funny. We talked. You came up. We were talking. I came down off the stage, and you told me you had the dish. You felt confident this year.
I thought I had the dish 2 years ago in 2019, and you still have to execute. So I was thrilled with what came together in August prior to winning the golden ticket. And then my sous chef said when we won that in August, he said, "Can this win in Dallas?" And I said, "F yeah." So we took it and executed.
I mean, I think that's the thing. You have to, excuse me, you have to go into these competitions with a modicum of confidence, not an arrogance or anything like that, but confident, because that's how you execute. You execute by being confident in the steps that you're taking for the dish you created. What were, 2019, you felt like you had the winning dish. 2020 is a wash. 2021 comes around and you bring it home. What were some of the differences you noticed from 2019 to 2021?
Well, I'm fortunate to compete for decades, and going into an event for the first time, which was 2019, I was aware of it for a number of years, but finally won a golden ticket. And there's different nerves, and it's a different level. I mean, I've competed. I won the 2010 Taste of St. Louis, and that's a different battle. And so going there, maybe I was more nervous and made a mistake on the signature dish, and I had a fourth place bacon Bloody Mary, but didn't do well with my signature dish. So going in with knowing to be confident what I was doing, because it was all new to me, and I learned that fortunately quickly.
So walk us through what your winning dish was, because that is something that's been highly talked about, is with everybody, fans, competitors, the whole like. What was your winning dish out of the baking category?
So the signature dish was bacon wrapped pork belly over bacon bourbon jam over bacon jalapeno pancake, topped with a Szechuan glaze and bacon bits.
So there was bacon.
It was bacon 5 ways. And with the final battle, the top 10, it was incorporate Hershey's semi-sweet chocolate. And I felt, even, when I knew that back in August, September, I was really confident in adding it. It goes great with bacon. And I was also careful to not make it a dessert, which is what I did here. Like maybe, half of the final 10, it was too dessertish and not enough bacon.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. There's a balance to all things.
Yes.
It's like when they introduced the X Factor in, which really did make the difference in a few of the categories, that like you're already trying to make sure your flavors are on point, your skills on point, the techniques you use are on point, but to understand the balance of infusing what some would look at as an opposing product, there is a beautiful medley to be had there.
What I want to share about the X Factor was you had to submit your recipe. So I competed Saturday. You had to have it submitted by 11:59 Sunday night. I it messed it up the first time putting it in. I had to redo it. we went out to dinner. I came back. I was chilling. Someone messaged me at 11:30. I missed on how to input the X factor. So when you input your recipe, I just went about straightforward. If that person had not messaged me, by the grace of God, I had to go back in at 11:30. I was nervous, and you had to, at the top of your method, you had to, in capital letters, say what your X factor was, and when Mike announced it was the final two, he said that the X factor wasn't a factor because we both got the 3 points, and that person saved me, and I'm just very grateful for that. And my X factor just included doing bacon. Bacon was done 5 ways, and I incorporated the X factor ingredient, the semi-sweet chocolate, 3 different ways as well. So it was intense.
I mean, if you eat, so, for those scoring at home, bacon 5 different ways, chocolate 3 ways.
Right.
I mean, that's what the kind of level you have to be at to win at the World Food Championships. You're not winning by making a BLT.
No,
you're going to have to go in and go big, big, big. And, when you hit the ground this past WFC,
yeah,
this was the first year back after we lost 2020, after you were there in 2019. And when you hit the ground there, what was it like when you first entered into the new kitchen arena, which was very different than what we've had in the past?
So I absolutely love that setup and how it's centered. Both competition lines were on left and right side. I love the red carpet. All your sponsors were down that hallway. And we'll get to the bourbon. The Bourbon Fest was awesome. I helped Mike with that on the rib. That was an excellent event. And but just even from 2019, this is there's 1,500 competitors. There's 400 teams. There's a lot of setup. As a banquet chef, catering chef for 20 some years, and exec chef, I understand what it takes to set up. So, and then to see Mike that Thursday afternoon, I didn't see you till Friday, but like to see Mike just calm and cool, like no big deal. And it takes so many thousands of hours to get that set up. So I was really excited that they signed on again for the 10th anniversary coming November.
And I mean, the 10th anniversary is going to be huge. I've been in talks. We're talking about things that are they blow me away with anticipation, looking at what's coming for the 10th anniversary. Because of course you have to go bigger in the 10th anniversary than you ever done. Like, I loved the addition of the championship banners hanging from the ceiling.
It's beautiful.
Like, that's a thing. And then when you go back in 2022, you're going to see your championship banner hanging from the ceiling.
That's going to be quite an honor. My family will be coming down this time. And, I remember looking up and seeing Jody Taffel's name. She's badass. And, I said to myself, I want my name up there someday. And I'm really going to be honored to have it up there with the other champions.
So now we're talking about you're in that lull before the storm of Final Table. And this year's Final Table is in Lake Murray, South Carolina.
Yep.
There is very little information out there about it. And a lot of that is to design, because we really want to find out who the world champion is. And that has a lot to do with the quality of competition that's going to be there. So many people have already talked about this one particular thing Mike kind of alluded to.
Right.
Purposely alluded to. The catch and cook competition, where he's talked about sending all 10 competitors out on a boat, and you got to come back and catch or cook whatever you catch. And I've got to ask you the same question I'm asking everybody. Have you even ever gone fishing before?
Well, yes, definitely. Literally, I'm from South Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and my grandparents own a marina. All my uncles worked the boats, and I've been crabbing and fishing since I was 3 years old. So there's a lot of luck with fishing. Just so you know, there's some skill, but there's definitely need luck. There's like I was talking to Mike this morning about it. Like, they're just say someone doesn't catch a fish, maybe they get a point deduction and they give them the fish. Well, that 1 point is going to hurt them. You got to make this amazing. I don't know what the rule is, but we just thought that. But and another thing is when they said before I'd won, it said the final table will be at Lake Murray. Well, my last name's MacMurray, so I thought that was a good omen to start.
That's giving you a little bit of like pseudo home field advantage.
I feel good about that.
Pause 1 second for me.
Sure.
All right, sorry about that. My sinuses are going bananas. My allergies are nuts right now.
That's good. I coughed a little, so I'm good to go too.
Yeah, and then I get to edit, so we're good.
Yep.
All right, so we were talking about the home
Lake
field
Murray.
advantage. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so when you talk about, diving past kind of the fun of the home field advantage and this catch and cook, which is still being flushed out because there's so many things. What if you don't catch a fish? What if it's not the right kind of fish? What if nobody catches a fish? There's all these things worked out. But this really determines who walks away as the world food champion with a huge purse, lots of prizes, lots of accolades, and a year of really just stupendous things that can happen in your career because of it.
Without a doubt.
So it starts off at 10. You got your 10 category champions.
Right.
Then it's weeded down to 5. Then it's weeded down to the final 3 through a series of competitions that, again, we still don't know a whole lot about. One of the things I think is so fascinating about it is each person came out of a different category, may or may not have, chef experience, may not have a broad-reaching amount of chef skills, may not have the knowledge of breaking down a fish, not just to catch the fish, but to break down a fish. So I think what you're going to see is really, truly, that we're going to, round by round, the 10, the 5, the 3, and then the winner, we're going to find out just where your flexibility is, your comfort zone within the food world as a whole. And I think that really gives us a chance to find out who the champion is. And with your culinary background, as an educator, as a restaurateur, how do you feel like that sets you up for this type of a competition?
I'm going to say 32 years of experience of competing, as my cook, chef, everything in that, competing, winning, and losing. Over 10 years of fine dining to start my career. And then this gets down to the critical plating and whatnot. What I do see, I feel, I've watched many competitions. I've been to many, and, you have to be very on your feet and create something really quickly. Right. And use your experience to execute that, whether it's, the fish is flambéed, whether it's however that fish would be prepared, a French technique or whatnot. And, it's Southern cuisine. We have low country cuisine. So as a competitor, I'm thinking about the region. I watched the 2019 final table. It's in Indianapolis. They did things themed through that. The second challenge, and I was admiring, and bring up Jody again, but asking the questions. That chef who did that, I believe it was a duck dish, and right. He was very vague, and she got a couple questions out of him. But then they have to go execute that. So that was so those things make me it's got to pay attention. It's not a game. You got to listen and then respond off of that. That's my game plan at this point. Today is I have the first Zoom call coming up in a couple of days for the top 10 champions, and we're going to start getting some information. So, I'm very excited, just to start to get the information, and I'm also enjoying this whole process. It took me about a good month or so to realize, hey, I'm bacon world champion, and it's pretty cool, but I'm still busy cooking, right? But this next level, this build up to end of April for this, Lake Murray, South Carolina is just huge. It's exciting, for doing it so long. Like to think I can get back or to be at this level and to be this excited, as a kid.
It is. Everything about it is so much energy and so much fun and so much excitement. how has winning affected your, coming back to work and coming back to your home state and coming back to the things you're doing? How is winning? Have you run into a lot of media requests and things like that? I mean, it really does change things when you win a prestigious title, like, especially out of a category like bacon. Bacon, burger, seafood are three of the most highly contested categories year in and year out. And you came through and won in bacon, even in a category where the reigning champion was present.
Yep.
So how is that what kind of effect has it had on your day to day?
So a couple things. Like, I got back to I drove home Wednesday or Tuesday. I had a lunch for 150, a dinner for 125 the next day. So it kept me humble, and I was busy as can be leading up to Thanksgiving, and took another 5 days off. But I try to keep humble about it. Just to, chefs get a bad rep with egos, and I just, I'm very, it's true. So it's like, we got to yell to get things done. Sometimes it's loud in the kitchen. But my peers, my friends, and my family, they're proud, because I put decades of, sweat, blood, and tears into this thing. And it's pay, not that I haven't won something before, but this is top notch. This is the biggest thing I ever won. And I'm still going to keep competing, and I want to win again, because to win again is really hard. Just ask the vet.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I mean, there's a couple that have won more than once, and It is not easy. Right. It is incredibly difficult to win once, because you're talking about overall, it could be close to anywhere from 300 to 500 competitors at one of these events. But then to go back and do it again, whether it's the same category or a different category, we've seen that. We've seen a champion from steak decide to go seafood the next year and not be able to pull it off again.
Right.
So it is incredibly difficult. But before all of that, you've got your normal work, which I see all the clipboards behind you, which I remember those so well.
Yes.
But you're in this prep for Final Table, which is literally, right around the corner. I mean, you won in November, and we are almost to Final Table already, where you're going to see those other 9 competitors again, and you're going to walk in with a little information, because, like you said, you have a Zoom call coming. Yeah. But then you're going to have this opportunity to say, all right, let me roll up the sleeves. I'm going to get my knives out, and I'm going to go to work.
I think, it's like the first time I was on TV, the lady just said, once you start talking about cooking, you're going to be good to go. Mm-hmm. Competition, you're nervous, your nerves. And if you just put your head down and, like, I was watching another program, and just start doing something to, because you're so, maybe nervous, and you got to concentrate on what you got to get done. Later in my career with competing, I definitely write things out, and check them off as I go. So I'm old school with making notes and checking it off in a competition. And even if I do something and I don't have it written down, I'll write it down, just being OCD about that. But I mean, that's when I did win. And if you quite remember, I was a little loud saying, this is for the cooks. And that's what I'm just, these wannabe chefs, like, I'm just a cook. and I'm grateful I'm a good cook, but I don't take it for granted. And that's that. And, and I don't want to say when I win, but hopefully when I win, I'll be thanking the cooks. It'll be for the cooks again.
Nice. So so what is your day to day? What is it where are you working? Where are you cooking? What's going on with you?
So I'm executive chef at Old Hickory Golf Club in St. Peter's, which is about 20 minutes from downtown St. Louis. I used to be exec chef here at 06 and 07. So I knew I had lost a really good job in COVID a couple of years ago, was catering, and got a call to help out again. And boom, I landed their exec chef job again. And this point in my career, it's just prime. It's a beautiful club. Seats can do up to 600 people for, an upscale fine dining wedding. The restaurant, the bistro, does just really rocking business. It's a private golf course, but it's open to the public for food. Like I said, I do cooking classes at least once or twice a month. I'm a beekeeper, so the bees keep me busy. I forage for mushrooms. That's coming up in April. So maybe I'll bring some morels down there with me, or chanterelles. They're a little later. When I'm home, I'm cooking. I was making sweet potato rolls last week. I did a good batch of fried chicken at home. That's my therapy. I just love cooking, and I did get a new book that's called Taste of the State for South Carolina, and it's in a sense it's a cookbook, but it's literally like 60 ingredients from A to Z, and they talk about it and its history. So getting a good feel for South Carolina, and I told my peers, even my sous chef is going to be helping me, Pepe, this guy. I was like, I'm just cooking every day to be in the cooking. That's what I normally am, but to be in competition cooking mode, and that means you got to be in the kitchen to be, spur of the moment, creative. What am I going to do with this? Or also, what if you make a mistake? How are you going to fix it right now? So that's why, I walk through on the line, and and I'm always active with the banquets, and that keeps me young too. So
yep, that's for sure.
I've been exec chef now for like 25 years, and my friend jokes and says that's 150 years in dog life. So
that's about right.
Yeah. So, but I'm, I love what I'm doing, and I beyond grateful.
So as a seasoned and continuing overall food sport competitor,
yes,
what is a piece of advice you would give to people who haven't kind of made that jump to compete yet, but are heavily considering it?
Well, it's a good question, and close your mouth and open your ears and just listen. So like in barbecue, I competed a lot in barbecue, and everyone was helping everyone. I had a different training, but backyard barbecue cooks are insane. And they become big major champions. Go to a competition, ask some of the teams what's going on. Can I watch? It's just like trying to get a job in the kitchen. But or enter a smaller competition and feel it out. See if you got the chops to do you have the taste? Do you have the execution? Can you handle it? And there's lots of little competitions all around. So that's something, give it a whirl before you not say waste money, but, check it out. So, and then that could grow. So some of my friends in barbecue, backyard barbecue, one of my good friends, Chris Schaefer, just opened up a joint, like about 3 miles from here, and he's top barbecue joint in St. Louis. So, these things happen.
Yeah, they do. And that's the thing. And guys, a great way to do that is to bookmark and go to regularly worldfoodchampionships.com. They have a list of events. They have a list of qualifiers. All those deadlines and details and important things are all right in one source. So bookmark worldfoodchampionships.com and then follow the World Food Championships on social media on both Instagram and Facebook at World Food Championships, because it's the fastest way to get the information to find out where competitions are. And like you said, watch, maybe do a stage. We talk about stages in kitchens all the time, meaning just go volunteer and help. Then go in and get a small competition under your belt, just something simple and fun and entertaining, and then challenge yourself and work your way up. Well, you won bacon. Final table's next.
Yep.
Then it'll feel like another blink of an eye, and you'll be back at the World Food Championships looking up at your banner. And who knows, if you come out of final table as the champion, you'll be looking at 2 banners.
I'll be crying for sure. So, I said to Mike, I said, win, lose, or draw, at the final table, which I'm going to do my best. He'll do his best. We're good friends. Mm-hmm. So I just said, we go back in November at the 10th anniversary World Food Championships as returning bacon world champion and returning burger world champion. And that's pretty damn good right there. So I'm win-win all the way.
And that's the thing. It's the family, the camaraderie, the friendships that come out of food sport as a whole. But really, World Food Championships becomes like this giant family reunion when we all get back together there in Dallas again, and we see each other. And you and Mike will be there as returning champions. And I think we're going to have a whole interesting new set of stories come the 10th anniversary of the World Food Championships.
Well, I want to mention John Paul, who's the first person I met in 2019. He would make top 10 then, and he made top 10 this 2021 as well. Mm-hmm. But that talking about meeting new people and becoming family, he's the first one. We hit it right off. We were talking, it's like 7:30 in the morning, and he wasn't full of shit, and he was just just genuine. And who's like one of the first few people I saw last November was John Paul, and we're hugging, and he's a badass cook. So he'll be back ringing that cowbell.
And we're all looking forward to it. So Jack, thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure. It's been awesome.
Remember, caring is sharing. Share out the podcast with all your friends and family so they too
will
keep up with what's going on. You can now watch us on video on World Food Championships on Facebook. You'll find it there. And, let us know what you think. Send us comments and questions. We want to hear from you. But we're on our journey to Final Table, and we got to speak with Jack MacMurray, the reigning bacon champion. We'll have another champion next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark.